Okay, so in the previous video, we ended off talking about the 4 prerequisites for setting goals. Notice it has to be defined, it's got to be time-bound, it's got to be realistic, attainable, and it's got to interest you. So some examples, there's 2 chevra in my koil, 2 guys, mamish, probably the best guys in the koil, and their goal is to know the Gemara Shakla V'Tarya, Pashup Shat, Aliba de Rashi. Right? They want to know the whole, and they're going through it. They're mamish going through it, and they have a chazar system, and their goal is to know the Gemara Shakla V'Tarya. Now, that's a defined goal. Well, see, Shakla V'Tarya is not a defined goal because there's no end. There's no end to the Gemara, right? Aliba dehu, like Shakla V'Tarya of the Gemara, but Pashup Shat, now even Pashup Shat means a lot of different things for a lot of different people. So, they want to know Shakla V'Tarya, Al-Pi Rashi. Right, more or less. Now, it's not 100% defined because when you get to Rashi, well, what does Rashi mean? There's Machlek Zachronim, fine. But Lamaisa, as defined as possible, they want to know by the end of Zman, by the end of when we finish Pesachim, they want to know Shakla V'Tarya, Aliba de Rashi, and that's their goal. That's very nice. So they say at the end of Zman, it's defined, it interests them a lot, and for them, I think it's attainable. I mean, we'll see. We'll see if it is, but for them, it's very attainable. So that's one example of a goal you might want to set when you start out learning Gemara. Number 2 maybe is maskanas. This speaks to me a lot, and that is the maskanas of every sugya. Just get the maskana clear. You want to remember all the details of the whole process going through, but it's very difficult. For me, it's very difficult to remember the whole process. But the most important thing for me to know is the maskana, what came out. Now, this requires a little bit of post-processing, right? If you know the Shakla V'Tarya very well, that's fine. But after you speak to the Shakla V'Tarya, you have to say, okay, so what came out Lamaskana? And get that very clear. So now, that's not, for me, that's not a massive goal, right? It's not how many maskana. There are a lot, but how many maskanas are there? Every daf has a couple of maskanas. So just to get those extremely clear and try to remember them, that's another goal. Another goal for somebody who even lower than that is to say, I want to know the main points of every daf. If you ask me in Maseches Pesachim what's on Daf Chaf Gimel, I'll be able to tell you, Daf Chaf Gimel discusses, A, B, and C. What about Daf Yud Zayin? And he feels like he has a kinyan on the Masechta because that's a smaller goal. Now you're going to ask him what's Allah here, what's the Shakla V'Tarya here. You won't remember, but when he gets to the end of Masechta, he'll walk away with something real. He'll walk away with something in his pocket because he knows the main points on every daf. So those are just 3 suggestions. Again, now there's no right answer. You can do whatever you want, but these are some goals that people might have. Instead of trying to grab everything and saying, I want to know as much as possible. Again, that's a bit, I always try to do that. I didn't want to not know something. I don't want to say, well, that I'm not going to try to remember. But again, if you ask yourself, right, let me ask you, how much do you remember from not the Masechta you're learning now, from the Masechta you learned, the last Masechta, right? How much do you have right now in your pocket? Yeah, don't answer the question. You know what I mean? So you have to become realistic in what we want to take away. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to want to know more than that. Let's say I get all the maskanas clear. I know all the maskanas very, very clear. So now in my next chazar of the Masechta, I'll slowly build on that. But at least I have something concrete that I'm taking away from myself. So those are 3 suggestions. Now, the next step is to create a plan, right? You need to make a plan of how you're going to get to that goal. You have to make a clear plan, and that's based on 2 different points. One is that you have to, this is, again, these goals that I suggested are information based, right? We're talking about taking away information. So we have to discuss how to remember, how to input things into your memory. So that's the whole memory course we're going to work on. And the other thing is about chazara, how to chazar, because even if you put something into your long-term memory, if you don't have a chazara system, you'll never be able to retain it. I think that's a proof. That's one thing that it's a choik barzel. It's a proven thing that if you don't chazer something, you won't remember it. So you're gonna get all excited and say, okay, now I know everything here. You're in the whole zman. But at the end of zman, and when you move on to the next program, and you don't go back to the old thing, so forget about it. So we're gonna talk about chazara. Chazara. There's a lot of very, very big yesodis in chazara. Very, big chilukim, big things that I recently came to in Chazara. They're simple points, but it's a fundamental change in how you view Chazara, and it makes it more enjoyable. It's a very good schmack to come back to Chazar it, because no one likes Chazara. Let's be honest. You go back Chazara in a system, but this makes it very, very enjoyable. So we'll talk about some key points of Chazara. We'll talk about the whole memory course and how to remember things and how to input into your permanent memory. So, thanks for watching.